Let's take a look at this new fantastic Fnatic keyboard, the Streak 80 LP. We're all quite familiar with the Streak 65 LP, and as great as this keyboard is, it's still 65%. But luckily now with the Streak 80 LP, we have our TKL. I always main a TKL, so am I thankful for this. Now, other than it just being a TKL, you can see they also implemented the media control, which is your volume or mute, which is a nice metal wheel, by the way, but your media controls are over here in your F row. And that's one great thing about this keyboard is everything can be controlled right on the keyboard. Now you can also dive into Fnatic software for this keyboard, which is quite minimal. You can go in there, adjust your RGB, your effects, your brightness, and the weird thing is it actually doesn't save the brightness to the keyboard. So if you shut your PC down or unplug the keyboard, it's going to go to full max brightness. That's with using the software or controller on the keyboard, but it will save your preset effect. And another function you can do on the keyboard is function escape, which will put the keyboard into a light yellow or orange color, which puts it in a gaming mode to disable that Windows key. So yes, the customization of this keyboard is quite minimalistic, but again, controlling it and setting it up is very simplistic, and that I really love. But yes, the resetting of the RGB was just an annoyance because every time I fired up, I had to go function and then tap the key 3 times to dim it down. May sound like I'm complaining, just got annoying. Why doesn't it save? Now, as many of you already know, this is a low profile keyboard. As you see, the case is low profile as well as those double shot PBT keycaps. Really nice touch there because on the previous 65, they released it with ABS, but now you have those nice double shot PBT keycaps. So you all might be asking, well, why a low profile keyboard? Well, the great thing about a low profile keyboard is it's ergonomically just perfect with your hand. It's that natural flow. So the benefits would be your wrist isn't angled up like that. You're not having to hold your fingers up. You're not getting pains and aches here, and you don't have to press as far. And I've said this many times before, I absolutely love low profile keyboards. But I will tell you, as far as me not maining a low profile keyboard for a while, me maining the SteelSeries Apex Pro, this is the wireless version, but anyways, just a main sized keyboard, coming over to this low profile one, it did honestly take my wrist and fingers a bit to adjust to. I almost wanted to keep my fingers up here, and it created a little kink there. Truly give it a week or two of that time to play to really let your hand and fingers get adjusted and acquainted with that low profile position. Trust me, you'll love it once you adapt to it. Now, since I mentioned I was maining the SteelSeries Apex Pro, talking about OmniPoint adjustable switches, which just about every company does these days, that is the hype of keyboards. Why would you go with something like this with regular switches compared to the Apex Pro? But as far as my use with OmniPoint or adjustable switches, I always set them and forget them. Now, they do have rapid fire trigger, which that is something really nice, but again, I put all of mine at 1mm actuation. That's exactly what the Fnatic is. Now, before I show you any more about the Streak 80 LP, I want to give you a quick sound test because the sound of this keyboard is going to relate on my next topics. So let's get that quick sound test here. And as you can see, my basic room volume. And now for the sound test. I mean, this keyboard sounds phenomenal, and there's multiple reasons for that. Number one, with it being low profile, you don't have a lot of that sound to get trapped in the keycaps or to radiate out there. The bottom of the keyboard is ABS, the top of it is aluminum, but they also implemented some pour-on foam in the middle to help out with that dampening. But even other than the sound, the switches and the stabilizers are fantastic in this keyboard. None of the stabilizers budge or move whatsoever. They're actually mounted to the PCB, and let me tell you what, they are solid. But that also goes into the keycaps. I mean, these things are balanced. They don't move around, and that goes into the switches. As you see, they don't have a lot of that travel going around in there. And that's probably the biggest thing I noticed with this keyboard coming from the Apex Pro. Me just putting my fingers on here, I can just dance these keys around. The keycaps, they're just moving all the way around with, again, those basic stems. These having a round stem going all the way down in there, low profile keycaps and everything, that combination, they barely budge. I mean, it is seriously game-changing. Just feeling these dance around, and these are just true to the press. Now, also in line with those stabs, Fnatic is stating that the stabs and switches are pre-lubed, and if you look super close, you can see a very mild amount of lube on the stabilizers. I don't think it's needed because, again, such low profile, I don't feel them dancing around too much, but as far as the lube, it's very minimal. Out of the box, they're perfectly fine. Now, I know someone will, as they do in every single one of my videos, question why I flip my spacebar, and as you see, I even did it down here on the low profile keyboard. If you actually flip this spacebar around to the regular position, it's still very nice and it's doable, but I feel that lip right there. So if you take your spacebar, and again, this goes with any keyboard, this is why I always do it, but so much more on this keyboard, because you can sit right like that, the spacebar just flows down. You don't feel it jabbing you here in the thumb. Trust me, if you use the Streak keyboards, the low profiles, or if you get this one, flip your spacebar. You'll thank me later. Now, taking a look at the underside of the keyboard, as I stated, it is ABS plastic. You have these two big rubber feet on the bottom and one level of pop-out feet on the top with a nice rubber cap on it as well. As you see, it attaches by USB-C, and you do still have that removable Fnatic logo on the back. You got Streak on the left side and then Streak on the right side. They just want to always remind you that you're using the Streak. And I also forgot to mention, inside your box, you get a corny coiled cable. Is this still a trend? One thing I would like to bring to attention about this USB-C cable is whenever I insert it into the keyboard, it has a significant amount of movement, as you see. It does not go inside of the case at all. It's just sitting out there, and then you have this little lip on the bottom. But as you saw me there, just take the USB-C out, it's in there incredibly snug, so you're not gonna have any issues with it coming out. But again, damage over time, I don't know. It's really loose. Now, even though it is a low profile, skinny keyboard, it still has a nice premium feel to it. It really does. Whenever we slap it down on a scale, we're gonna come in at 586 grams. Just for a reference, again, the Apex Pro, slapping this on a scale, we're getting 750. So again, not bad seeing that with a skinny, low profile keyboard. Most probably wouldn't expect this to feel as premium and rigid as it does, being so slender here. No joke, it's solid. Now, one of my complaints on a previous Fnatic keyboard were those LEDs you're seeing right down there on the spacebar. They used to not include those little caps covering them. They did on a Streak 65, and it's really nice they're including them here, because those weren't covered. They just blind you throughout your entire time using it. So after looking over the Streak 80 LP, there is no denying this thing is fanatically fantastic. It's coming in at only 130 bucks. Now, I say only lightly because let me take out the Apex Pro again. Now, this is the wireless one, but I want to refer to the wired one. You can currently get the wired Apex Pro for around 140 or 150, so you're talking a few bucks more, and yes, you do get a whole lot more keyboard up here. Not even just the screen, but the adjustable switches and all that. So is this beneficial over something like this? Again, as I stated, talking about it, I don't use the OmniPoint switches. I set them and forget them at that 1mm actuation. These are plenty fast. You're not going to get, again, a bonus being able to adjust your switches any faster. The difference is going to be the rapid trigger on that. That is something you will notice, but you're only going to notice something like that in a game like Fortnite or something. If you're just gaming around, I'm telling you, a low profile is something you got to try. I think I'm going to keep this on my desk until something better comes along. If you enjoyed this video and it was in any way helpful for you, please hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye now.